basic family. So today we are going to be focusing on a life update as requested over on Instagram. If any of you would like to participate in requesting the next side channel video, just go ahead and follow at underscore Karuna Satori ASMR. I often have like my just everyday updates, polls, questions, like anything that if you're interested in following along or participating, please follow down below. I hate doing the whole promotion thing, like, subscribe, and comment. But anyway, I'd like to preface this video, and I'll start it out by saying this. My life is not negative. I simply choose to share the hurtful, painful, generalized negative story times in hopes that you, my YouTube family, or whoever may be watching, will learn something from them. The narrative that I am always involved in drama, whether that be in my daily life or with other creators, is both false and defamatory. I am aware that I cannot change the minds of those who don't dislike me or those who simply lack common sense, and I am aware that they never had good intentions for me in the first place. And that's okay. The whole world can't like Karuna Satori, and I will say though, I am prepared to protect myself and my safety in whatever needs possible. If somebody is offended or hurt, that I choose to stand up for myself, whether verbal or physical or any means necessary to protect both my content, my safety, and above all, the lives of my children, my family, and myself, I am prepared to do that. And with that, I want to finish by saying thank you so much to every single person, the hundreds, if not thousands, of supporters that have come to my side during this time. I am entirely grateful. I'm grateful for JoJo ASMR. I'm grateful for ASMR Glow. Everyone who's come around Rapunzel and just hugged me hard, whether that be just from afar or in person, friends, neighbors, extended family I haven't talked to in years, even the police department, their wives, their family, their daughters. This weekend, I just want to thank you so much for the support you've shown in this situation. And with that said, let's start off with a quick Stalker update. I wanted to let you all know that John has been charged twice by the police. As I have stated, John knows his rights, and if you take a look at his channel, which I will not be promoting, however you may find it yourself, his entire channel, he considers himself John the safety guy, and to protect everyone who can't protect themselves from the big bad police. Ever since I've been unfortunate enough to meet John, he's always been about that. He hates police. It's in his nature. I personally don't like police. However, I don't make it a point to go and ruin lives for a living. So with that said, John was charged this weekend he finally had his hearing, and he was charged without showing his ID and his registration, which come with fines. Now, you're probably wondering, where is this PFA? Where is the restraining order? Where are the rights for you, Karuna, Sarah? Where are they? And I am here to tell you that although John has never made full direct threats using my full name with a threat that is, I will unalive you, or I will, without, paraphrasing, or indirect, that's what I'm looking for, not paraphrasing. I have spoken to my attorney, and we are a defamation lawsuit. And again, I am prepared to protect myself in any way or means necessary, especially when it comes to my children. I have fought tooth and nail for my children in the past when I was a different person, and I am prepared to fight for them again. So John will have to pay fines. John has other hearings coming up, and especially the ordinance hearings. I am not prepared to attend those. I have no interest in being involved with John. I have no interest in him being any part of my life, and I never did. However, I don't take to threats lightly. I don't take to harassment lightly, and I will not take to defamation lightly either. So with that being said, I hope that update is good enough. Everything's kind of been quiet on my front, but if you look at what John's doing now, he's specifically targeting one officer, sending his videos to all kinds of YouTubers, attempting to get fame. However, I think he's gained maybe 50 subscribers from hundreds of thousands of views from the people who hate the police, so God knows. But let's go ahead and move forward from this beginning of the video. I don't want to sound too serious or almost like AI. I want to talk about my life today. That's why I wanted to preface it with, my life isn't negative. I just choose to share those stories in hopes that maybe you'll learn from them. So why don't we talk about just generalized life of Karuna Satori right now? Things are, believe it or not, doing amazing since the whole health issues I've been going through. It's been a very difficult road since being diagnosed with Graves' disease, and obviously if you've watched my 3-hour video, which I'll put right here, and the title I'll make sure to put in the description. However, you're gonna notice me saying however a lot. Have you ever had a word just kind of stick to you? Like you'll hear it and then it just kind of sticks to you for a week. So I'll say things like, I'll be like, oh, literally, or like, or if you remember my Stalker, I was like, a lot. It's just because I'm assuming my brain can't piece every word I'd like to say. That's why you're seeing a lot of cuts in this video. Your girl has her Aunt Flo visiting, and when that happens, I have brain fog like a MF, so I can't, so bear with me here. But again, ever since being diagnosed with Graves' disease and beforehand, leading up to that, not being able to get diagnosed, nobody knowing what was going wrong, it was very difficult. I ended up going crazy because my thyroid was releasing hormones, and the bad news about the thyroid and blood work is your body can hide. So Lyme disease is a perfect example of this. When somebody gets Lyme, it's very hard to get diagnosed even with the antibodies in your system, because it will, like, somebody will take blood and then they'll see there's nothing in your system while you're actively suffering, and other parts of your blood work, whether it be a full metabolic panel, will show that something's off, but it never directly pinpoints what's going on. So that's thanks to your immune system, and especially with Lyme, especially with Graves, Hashimoto's, any autoimmune disease that is actively attacking your body, it's really hard to get a diagnosis. So the past 2 years has been genuinely the most difficult time of my life. And I laugh because I find that laughing at, I guess, my trauma or just, negative interactions or anything like that, such as my stalker, and I am learning how to preface John as not my stalker. Thank you so much for everybody who's given me that information, that putting my is giving him basically the reinforcement that he is part of my life. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to point that out. I have found myself finding myself ever since getting my thyroid taken out. Initially, when I got my thyroid taken out, ask anybody who's had theirs removed, that the first few weeks and months are some of the hardest that you'll ever have to endure, because your thyroid controls your endocrine system, and your endocrine system controls all your hormones, your emotions, your pretty much everything, the way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you act. It drives people crazy, and that's a great explanation for why I lost my mind in 2021. I'm not sitting here saying I'm some perfect person. I have my flaws, I have my negativities and things of that nature, but I would like to say that my thyroid obviously was not being controlled, and I obviously was out of control at the time. And when it was removed, they say that if a doctor even touches the thyroid, and because mine was so engorged with tumors and nodules and obviously cancer, even touching it can release a mass handful of hormones into the body. So whenever the thyroid is removed and you're left with what your body's frantically trying to see how am I supposed to release these hormones? How am I supposed to control this system? Everything is out of whack, and it actually puts you into a frenzy. And that is what happened to me. So for months, I went through the brain fog, and about a month and a half, I'd say. Brain fog, the feeling of anxiety, it's uncontrollable anxiety. For those who have autoimmune diseases, there is a difference from generalized anxiety disorder, which I do have, and uncontrollable anxiety disorder, where you'll even be in a remotely sane state of mind, but there's a ache in the pit of your stomach and your brain is racing, but behind that you're kind of looking around thinking, what in God's name is happening? Like, I am about to die basically at all times. So that is a very painful experience, and I am very blessed to have finally, I'm one of the few that thankfully after my surgery, I was able to find a dose of what's called Synthroid, which is my replacement TSH, or there's other pills like for T3, T4 hormone, which again controls your thyroid. And I am on a stable dose. I've been on a stable dose for months, and I am very, very proud of that. I'm very proud to have finally gotten my levels to a normal one. I am still struggling with other symptoms, other issues right now. For example, I have a lot of chronic pain, a lot of chronic inflammation, a lot of other TMI issues I'll save for you today. I am currently looking for a diagnosis of lupus or something that's mimicking lupus because my mother had it, and it seems to run in the family. They say lupus is not hereditary, and they do say that lupus is still not studied enough to find out where it comes from. However, my symptoms seem to mimic that, so I'm actively, seeking out a rheumatologist. I have an appointment soon, and they'll be able to do the workup to see, and if not lupus, something that mimics the pain I'm having, inflammation, other random symptoms. My muscles will burn viciously out of nowhere with no active movement. But with that, where I was going with that, since I seem to get off topic and babble a lot, I'd like to talk a little bit about the positive things that have come from since getting my health shit together. Since starting to get my health together, I finally, for the first time in years, and I'm not talking about months or days or weeks or, a little bit over a year, I'm talking like 3 to 4 years, gap period. That's why my body has changed so much, other than the weight gain that's promised after thyroid removal, thyroidectomy. I am so much more active than I used to be. I recently bought my first kayak. I'll put that here. I am literally like a child in this photo because a really good friend of mine, I met her last year thanks to another friend of mine, Sarah. She introduced me to her, and her and I have become very close. Our daughters play together, and so does Sarah and her son and my daughter. And it's just a really nice, tight-knit relationship with everybody. And I like the fact that they have put time into me to try to find solutions for me and offer things that have to do with my chronic, inflammation, chronic pain, being a chronic pain patient, Graves' disease patient, all that good stuff. And I have a friend, Heather, who I am meeting soon, and she also suffers from a lot of those issues, and she does have lupus, and she has been the first to be like, you need to get to a rheumatologist, and it's just nice to have friends real friends, not friends like, never in my life, like, except for maybe whenever I was in grade school, because I backed away from friendships and kind of lost the ability to have those, because high school, I don't know, it's such a time of coming up, and that's something I teach my kids, that school, your grade school is such a big time in your life, and although you have extremely less days behind you than you have going forward, you can't really grasp that because you haven't had a chance to really experience life, that as you get older, people can get very mean, and the only reason they get very mean is because they're hurt. So you need to try to understand why they are acting the way they are. And as, young kids, we don't realize or recognize that. So we kind of learn when a friend is mean to us. Back in the day, we're like, oh no, they did something that I'll never be able to forgive. And you kind of grow to think that all people are like that, when that's simply not the case. That's an unrealistic expectation for people, and unfortunately I developed that for myself. So just because I was hurt by some friends whenever I was a literal child, I grew up thinking that those behaviors were normal in people, which led me not to trust people. And with that, I was never able to understand why I just couldn't make friends or couldn't keep friends, or I would back away from friends and stop talking to them because I was scared that they were going to hurt me. It all relates back to behaviors that I was taught or that I thought were normal when I was younger. So with that, it's really nice now being, 32 and kind of untangling the web and the knots that have developed since growing. And it's really nice to have really good friends right now. So like I said, not only good friends, but good friends who understand trauma, understand what I'm going through. The absolute love these people radiate towards me and accept me for who I am is a love I've never felt before. And what's interesting is I take that back. It's not a love I've never felt before. It's a love I felt from so many of you. It's just the unfortunate I can never meet many of you, the majority of you, because you're all either so far away or you have different, lives than I do, and the circumstances just can't help us meet. And that's why I'm always so, calling you my YouTube family, and because a sense of family that I never grew up having is a family I found through you. Does that make sense? Like you, yes, you, as long as you're good people. So now that I found that in real people in life, I think I am like pretty much like rambling at this point, but the point I'm trying to make, I'm going slow today, guys. Come on, my uterus is falling out. So I am just really grateful to have found a group of friends who I can share that true like love with, you know what I mean? That comfort, that trust, that respect, and to be able to undo the trauma that I developed as a child. So it's a really nice thing. And speaking of trauma, like that's a good thing. I also have a wonderful, 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 wonderful therapist who is just gone above and beyond as not only a therapist, but as a person, to really put effort into helping me again undo the knots that I had grown up unfortunate using those behavior. Now, if you've ever heard somebody say, I talk in trauma, like I talk in trauma language, it's where you'll come up to me and be like, do you want to hang out tomorrow? And I'll say, yeah, absolutely. And then later on, you'll be like, you know what? I'm not really feeling good today. I think I'm going to cancel tomorrow. So when I say that I talk or I think in trauma, my first thought in trauma would be, they don't want to hang out with me anymore. They hate me. They're mad at me. I don't know why they're mad at me. Oh my God, they're such a terrible person for having feelings. I'm never going to talk to them again. And you automatically pick and point what the future is going to be with this person instead of being rational and going back and saying, you know what, they genuinely aren't just feeling good. Like the world is not out to get you, Sarah. So that is how I have learned how to undo those things. And that is such a positive thing to be able to come full circle and say, I have really good friends in my life now. I have a really good therapist who cares about me and cares about my feelings in my life. And I have a great surrounding. And that's why, I got so manic over John coming back into my life. Again, it's because I decided to make a very stupid comment, but I did delete it and thinking that, hey, he's not going to see that. Let's just move on. But again, it is what it is. And I want to share a story with you before I continue. As I prefaced in the beginning of the video that, I can't change people's mind about me, I can say one thing regarding why did you ever make that comment in the first place? And it's something I shared with Jojo, and because of the time frame, Jojo couldn't share it in his video. However, Jojo spent so much time working on that video and understanding and going through, oh God, hours of evidence, hours of videos, dealing with John, dealing with so much, all to just help me, because Jojo is a good person. And the lesson that I learned is, imagine a child, and a child saw that his dad had just painted and refinished this beautiful fence outside. And this child goes out and, he's like, this is a little too perfect. I'm gonna chip into this fence. And he makes a big chip into it. And after so much time, the child was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that, and tries to hide it and goes away and goes about his day. Well, the father comes out and sees the fence is chipped, and he's like, that motherfucking kid, and runs in and grabs the child and essentially beats him within an inch of his life. The child has to go to the hospital, and the child has to go through years of rehabilitation because of broken bones and cuts and the mental trauma that has come from the consequences of the father then. And what is that noise? Dear God, I don't know. Is somebody breaking in? No, but so the meaning of the story is, did the child deserve to be beaten within an inch of his life and then suffer from continuous consequences of the father losing his mind? Or did the child deserve to be talked to, or, you know, even yelled at? Something simple, something given the opportunity to correct his wrongs, but now the child is traumatized. And that's what I wanted to, you know, bring from those situations as, why did you have to make that comment? Why did you have to open your mouth? Why do you always have to do these things? I'm not a perfect person, and I do have to right my wrongs, and I think I deserve a chance to right my wrongs. But again, like I said, it's a little bit different in this situation, wanting to protect my story because my children, my family, things of that nature are in danger. So let's move on from that. As I was saying, I have gotten very active since my thyroid has been removed. I started kayaking. We bought mountain bikes. The family is biking every single night. We walk our dogs. So many. I went from literally probably walking maybe less than 1,000 steps a day to over 5,000-6,000 steps a day. And that is huge for my health. Now, I will say I do have my bad days where you'll find me caught up in bed because my lower back will be flared up and my mid back or my stomach or something that's preventing me from just enjoying my day. And again, it's so much of a blessing to be able to have this as a job, to be able to sit and chat with you and share the life I never thought I could have, that I thought I didn't deserve, and that I thought didn't exist because I wasn't raised like that. And I am very blessed to be able to, you know, share my life with you while also making it a career. One thing I found being awake for a year because of my graves is I know this kind of sounds childish. I know that I'm 32. I know that I have active boob sweat happening at the moment. But I just want to thank video games, and you'll see my little bloopy here. I'll put the creator right here. I can't think of her name off the bat. She is selling them on Etsy, and yeah, see, I'm starting to do the thing because I'm trying to like place words. That's why I use the words, like, it's again the cling words. So anyway, video games is something that, you know, you'll hear gamers. I know that there are the gamers like even GB or Jojo, like any of these people who sit on Twitch and actively play games for like 7 hours at a time. There's me who's like, like always in pain. And I play Zelda 2 hours. I'm gonna put it down to an hour and a half. An hour and a half every single day, whether that be Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, like Hyrule Warriors or Hyrule Warriors, I can't think of the name. It's insane. Like, I take an hour and a half a day and play my video games on my little Switch or play Animal Crossing. I'm just starting Stardew Valley, like Ori and the Blind Forest. Video games has been such a blessing. I'm going to use that word because that word feels so wholesome to me. It feels so pure and calm and just wonderful to have. I am so grateful to be able to have found so much peace in playing these games. And the biggest, obviously, is The Legend of Zelda. I started when Breath of the Wild came out. I have tried to finish Ocarina of Time for years. I'm sorry, listen to me. I get to where I'm an adult and then I quit the game. And everybody's like, no, Sarah, that's when the game gets so wonderful with Ocarina of Time. Like, they're like, this is the best part of the game is when you turn into adult. But I'm telling you now, if you walk into Ocarina of Time as an adult who's never played Zelda before, except for like the 2-bit old one, the original Legend of Zelda, you're like, what is this? Like, what is that Joe Pesci where he's like, what the fuck is this? Like, that's how I feel whenever I play Ocarina of Time with no tutorial, no help. I'm like, where in the God's name is this wooden sword? How am I supposed to get away from these stupid Deku tree or Deku nuts and like all this insane stuff? So I admit I've never beat the Ocarina of Time. So I bought Breath of the Wild back in 2017, and I'm telling you now, I went from looking up on YouTube how to beat a shrine or a side quest or God forbid the temples the very first time I played it in 2017, and then I picked it up again in 2019 after I beat the game, and you know, Age of Calamity, that was it, came out, Hyrule Warriors, and I beat that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna revisit Breath of the Wild and try again, because you know, hack and slash games are a lot easier for someone like me, and I really enjoy just like pressing buttons. Like, it really helps take away from the pain I'm experiencing or whatever else is going on in my life at the time, and it's beneficial to me. It's such an honor. So the second time I played Breath of the Wild, I looked up one temple, and it was the Lightning Temple. I can't think of the Zelda, not Blight Zelda, I forget the name, or Zelda, here we go, Link is Zelda, no, Ganon, the Blight Ganon, like which one, I can't think of the name. So anyway, and I beat Breath of the Wild without needing any help. And you're probably thinking, well, you looked up the temples in the first place. It's like, no, it's like, I really felt, you kind of come into it and learn over time how the puzzles are placed and what, you know what I mean? So my point is, it's such a successful and rewarding feeling to be able to beat, excuse me, I've been drinking soda today. That's why I'm all bloated. But it's such a rewarding feeling, and anybody who's a gamer is watching this right now is like, yeah, that's what this is. It's like, okay, like everybody always says people who play Nintendo Switch are not real gamers, and I don't consider myself a gamer, but I will say I am 100% obsessed with Nintendo, and recently, earlier this year, I bought a PlayStation 5 and played Hogwarts Legacy, and it was a beautiful game, but I will say they didn't put enough content in it to keep playing. Like, once I beat it, I was like, well, there's nothing really to go back for, because there's no active storyline after this, and I thought that they were going to add Quidditch shoes. So anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. I get so excited over video games. I could do a whole video on that, because I just love Zelda. I love the whole storyline. I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom. I know Zelda is, I'll save it for anybody playing, but I kind of know the ending already, and I'm just a little bit disappointed. And yes, so I wanted to share a little update, because video games has been such a positive thing for me, and I'm so like, I'm always so happy to play them. You know what I mean? Like, especially Zelda. So many of you have been asking for an update on Munchkin. Now, I will say I am in a lawsuit at the moment. I cannot speak much about things that maybe correlate to that, so I gotta be careful with what I say. But I do want to let you know that at the moment, Munchkin is doing better than he ever has been. He is such a sweet pea. Every one of my cats have their own sounds. So like with Munchkin right here, I'll be like, sweet pea. And then Zora, I'll be like, Zora, baby girl, baby girl, baby girl. And then Olaf, he's like, oh no. And then Duncan, I'll say, Duncan. And then Windsor will be like, Windsor. Like, I don't know if you, here they come. Come on, do you want to say hello? Come on, puppy doggy, come on. You want to say hi? Don't mind the rat dog's eyes. He always sneezes. He's gonna sniff me and sneeze. Ready? But yeah, his eyes just leak. He's a leaky dog. We call him our Ratunimus dog. He is our Ratunimus dog. He's just staring at me, but it's okay. So yeah, do you ever have like different voices for your own pets? And I'm literally like that. So with Munchkin, as I'm getting off topic, what do you want to do? You want to come up? Come up. Munchkin is doing wonderful. I mean, the unfortunate thing with Munchkin is I got Munchkin before any other of our pets. And Munchkin is, and it's an unfortunate thing to say because he's my best friend and has been there through everything. And he's getting old. And, you know, I know the day will come where, you know, the days are gone with him that he has more days ahead of him than behind him. At this point, he has very less days ahead of him than he does behind him. He's, you know, but he's healthy right now, and that's what's important. And I just wanted to give you guys that update because I get comments all the time. Some of them I have to delete, unfortunately, because of the situation, but Munchkin is doing wonderful, and I am so, so grateful to be able to, you know, I showed him in my get unready with me routine the other day. I'm so grateful to be able to just be with him every day. He sleeps up against me. I hold that cat like he is a light. And that's how I feel with my life right now, and I guess I'm kind of moving into that next. Obviously, my children are doing wonderful, and as they get older, that's a bittersweet thing too. I showed him my get unready with me the other day, the very piss poor measurement wall we have. I'll put it right here. Look, I know when we moved in here, we started like the day we moved in, and then kind of just did it and never got, like, everybody has this very clean ruler in their house that's measuring their kids, and meanwhile I'm just like putting grit into the wall where and it's insanity. So it's bittersweet though. You know, my kids are starting their puberty, I guess, if you want to call it that, because it's a very long process for children, and them almost being preteens now, it's like, you know, they're all starting to go through the changes, and it's like, I just notice the attitudes and, you know, just like how I was when I was a teenager. But one thing I'm really like honored to say is that they don't have to suffer, and they don't have to grow up in an unsafe environment, and they don't have that feeling that they can't come home and talk to mom. I do all of the things for them that I wasn't given whenever I was a young child, which I always say I've had a good childhood, and it was up until I went to therapy that I recognized. Before I was SA'd for a period of time, I always said, oh no, my childhood was wonderful. But like I said, therapy kind of made me point out that the only reason I felt that way is because I was left alone. There was always chaos going on around me. I never felt that I could come home and speak to my mother. My father was always gone. He was always working. He was doing his best. However, I didn't have that family except for my nun, which, you know, I had to switch my grandmother's ring to this finger because this finger's too big now. So I'm not proud of it. So it's really bittersweet, but it's also, I feel very proud of myself that I can offer my children a life that I was never able to have, that they have a safe space. My children are so smart. They are so beautiful. They are so they exude kindness and beauty and love, and oh God, I don't know how to explain it other than they are just wonderful, wonderful kids. And they're growing up and they are doing amazing. They're doing great in school, and they are just my lights. They are just so wonderful and so pure, and I am protecting that purity at all costs. And when I use the word purity, I'm saying just, you know, the real world, you know, it sucks, and they know about it, and they know about addiction. They know it runs in our family. They know all of the bad, evil things that lure and lurk, but they know that it's not their time to even recognize that. Like, sorry, my nose is like stuffy, but it's not their time. Do you know what I mean? Like, so they're still kids, and they're able to be kids, and it makes me so happy when we go bike riding or walking and my daughter rants for like as much as me just about like how her friend did this today, and like this other friend's breath smell, and then this other friend coughs too much, and it's cute. And I always teach them both, be the friend that you wish you had beside you at all times. And they do. They have great friends, and I think that's so important. And they know that one good friend can mean the world. And if one good friend isn't there, you be a friend to yourself until you find a good friend. So as I'm moving on into, you know, the subject, I just wanted to give an update on my kids. They are wonderful, and that's why I am always here to protect them at all costs. And we are 40 minutes into this video, so I'll try to keep it a little under an hour, and that's it. This video doesn't seem very fulfilling or very big, but so many of you ask for a life update, and honestly, when things are going very smoothly as they are right now, other than John, that's why I stopped doing our side channel. I mean, the health issues and everything like that, but at the same time, it's after so long, I finally found that peace. I finally found that comfort and peace inside, and that quiet in me that was lost so long ago. I found that again. And as I keep saying, I was willing to protect it at all costs, and I didn't know how to handle it. And this house is gonna blow up. What is that? Okay, my cat was meowing, but finding that quiet, when I first found it, and things became very normal for a long time. It was, how do I protect this? I don't want to share myself with anybody. I don't want anybody to like budge the safety net I've placed around me. But again, having a wonderful therapist taught me that I can share that, but I needed to learn boundaries, and I needed to learn to say no, and I needed to learn when to stop. And and I still am learning, and I'll always be learning. However, that's why I came back, because it's so nice to be able to share random stuff and happiness with all of you without having to be like, but I can't tell you about this because I'm scared. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like that little girl inside me that's like, this piece is mine and I don't want to lose it with something stupid. You know what I mean? So things are very good right now, and that's why I am happy to be back here, and I'm happy to be doing, our ASMR more, being more active on the platform, doing things that I thought I'd never start again. Like, it's really humbling to be able to feel normal again. And I always thought it was burnout, and that's something I taught myself well, because I initially thought it was burnout before I was diagnosed with my Graves' disease, and that's actively what I will try to avoid moving forward. So whether that's film over here 3 times a week and then the ASMR channel twice, or vice versa, that's what I'm going to do. And it's just so nice to be able to feel good, more well than I ever have. And one thing I did take from the bad things that happened, whether that be my mother dying, and if you remember from the Stalker story, I said one of my abusers is dead. My mother was. And again, it's exhausting. That's why I stopped talking about those things, because like I said, people had to say, oh, it's always something with someone in her life, and it's always this and it's always that. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what narrative you believe. If you have negative intentions for me, those intentions aren't going to change. It's all made up and it's all not real, and I've stopped responding to it, and I'm grateful to have been able to learn what to put my focus in. And what I've put my focus in over the years is my happiness. And I always used to be like, well, what about these people? And like, I can't focus on my happiness because I got to worry about them. And I can't focus on myself because I got to worry about my mother passing. And people are still confused why I helped walk her home. It's my favorite quote. We're all just walking each other home. Like, why did you do that after what she's done to you? And I had to. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I had to help. I have to help. I always just, have been like that, where I'm like, no, I need to do this first, and then I can worry about me. And by the time I worry about me, I'm so tired, and I just don't. And nowadays, it's so wonderful to be able to say, hey, Sarah, how are you feeling today? Like, what are the things you want to do? You know what I mean? So I think at this point, I'm going to probably stop the video because I'm sweating. The air conditioning is at like 20, and I'm over here like drowning in sweat. Because when I think about things that get really emotional, and like I said, brain fog and, being on my period, I sweat. So I'm gonna put this on my chest. But that's pretty much the life update. Nothing really goes on. So many people want to know about Victor. And again, I said I'm not even ready for that conversation, because we've been going through divorce. I don't want to say anything about him where he can't defend himself. I'm not a perfect person, and neither is he. And we've been together for 11, 12 years, going on 13 soon. And it's like, what do you say? What do you say? Should you say anything? Should I? No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't have. And I don't. So to answer that question, I don't even know. But I will say this, I think that we are great parents for our children, and I think that we're doing the right thing for our kids at this time. If that helps clarify some things, I think that we are doing what's best for our kids at this time. And that pretty much explains what's going on with us right now. But as I was saying, my life is very peaceful right now, other than, you know, John and like lawsuit and stupid stuff, like just stuff that is being dealt with. That's what attorneys are for. They do things for you so you don't have to worry. So I'm over here like chugging a dew. It's like, I am such a Pennsylvanian, it's terrible. Like just white trash. Like, I have a great group of friends. I have a great group of neighbors and surrounding area who care about me. I'm gonna be in a local magazine in the next few months. I'm very proud of. I have a lot of things going for me. We have a great, safe neighborhood we live in. I don't have to worry. For those of you with the stalker situation, I do have a permit to carry, and I do carry. My kids are doing wonderful. My kids are growing up. I'm living a life, as I said before, that I never thought existed and that I never thought I deserved. And whenever I stopped to finally accept those things after, again, undoing that entanglement of trauma, to recognize, yes, Sarah, you do deserve those things. I do, and I am, and that's it. I have a great life, and I'm prepared to defend that life in any way, shape, whatever possible that I can. So I hope this was a good enough life update. We're almost at an hour. Munchkin's doing amazing. Vic's doing well. And I'm doing better. And that's what's important. So crazy. I think all out of that, I'm thinking like, I don't know. But with that being said, family, pretty boring, but pretty exciting at the same time. I never talked positively about myself, you know what I mean? And now I am, and that's an honor. It's an honor to feel good about me for once. So I'm gonna go get off of here, and I love you. And I know so many creators, I love you, you're gonna say that. I have never felt more of a sense of family than I do now than I have ever. Does that make sense? And it's all thanks to you. So thank you, friends in my real life. Thank you, friends on the internet. Thank you, family on the internet. Thank you, neighbors, local police. Thank you, everybody who's pitched in to help protect me and mine. And I'll never be able to thank you enough. And thank you, JoJo. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.